If I were packing up and moving to San Antonio in 2025, this is the only video that I would be searching for. Because San Antonio's housing market has completely transformed, and there are areas of the city that are booming by 16% increases year over year, and some that are seeing drastic price drops, making it even more crucial to understand where you're moving to. We're going to talk about spots for families, for military, for first-time home buyers, for those that are looking at retiring, or maybe even getting that luxury acreage estate with resort-style amenities and pools right there on the property. But if you pick the wrong spot, you could be kicking yourself for years with a huge financial mistake. Today, I'm breaking down exactly where I would personally move to if I was coming to San Antonio in 2025, even going to tell you my absolute favorite spot. So let's start off with Bernie, one of the most highly sought after places in the entire San Antonio area, and there is a big reason why a lot of people are looking to move here. Bernie's just 30 miles northwest of San Antonio and is just an easy drive down I-10 to get into downtown San Antonio for those of you guys needing to commute down there for work. Because of this being in the hill country, Bernie actually sits about 1,400 feet above the elevation of San Antonio, making it a few degrees cooler in Bernie than it is actually in San Antonio. So what's there to do? Bernie is a smaller town. There's not as much right there in town itself, but there is still plenty to do for those of you guys that are looking for more of your entertainment options. Bernie City Lake is a great example. It's a smaller lake, about 20 acres or so. There's no active motorized boats allowed on that lake. You can paddleboard. Fishing is still a great option on Bernie City Lake, and it is a cool spot just to go out and just camp for the day. So unlike Lavernia, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, Bernie has a little bit more of those community amenities as well. Downtown Bernie has a ton of options. You got shops and restaurants all up and down the Hill Country Mile, as they call it, that main street in Bernie. You've got the Cibolo Nature Center, which has over 100 acres of park space. But what makes Bernie super special, and why, if I were considering moving to San Antonio, if I didn't live here my entire life already, I would highly consider Bernie. The school districts are rated extremely well. Bernie ISD is consistently rated among the top schools in the entire state of Texas, consistently gets A ratings, and consistently ranks in the top 10% of school districts in the entire state. Both of the high schools, both Bernie Champion and Bernie High School, have over 99% graduation rates and extremely high college placement rates as well. You also have a lot smaller classroom size than your typical average, especially if you're looking at some of those bigger districts down in San Antonio. Housing-wise, Bernie is a little bit more expensive at a median price point of $536,000. The value you get out there is extremely well placed, but that doesn't mean there's not some affordable options in Bernie. There's some new construction homes that you can get in those mid 300s range. You can of course go up to the higher price points and get multi-million-dollar houses such as those in Cordillera Ranch or even some of those in Esperanza, or you can find some options that are more rural, maybe older houses, maybe a lot less property taxes because you're paying on a much lower value on the home itself, even though you may be paying a higher price than what you're paying on property taxes. And you get super affordable property tax rates, some areas down as low as 1.4%. Bernie has a ton to offer when it comes to livability and just overall appeal, especially to people like myself in my situation with 3 kids and a wife and everything else going for it, with the downtown area, the small parks, easy access to San Antonio without being in the big city. Now, next up, we're going to take a look at a place that is still very hill country. In fact, it is known as the front porch of the Texas Hill Country, but it is at a much more accessible and affordable price point. Now, a real quick break here. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Michael McCall. I'm with the Life in San Antonio, Texas Home Group, and when I'm not making these videos for you guys, I'm out touring houses with families just like you who are looking to move here and buy homes here in the San Antonio area, or I'm also talking to people that are looking at selling their houses here in San Antonio. So if you are looking for more insider tips just like what you're seeing here, would love for you guys to hit that subscribe button. There's a lot of you guys that are not subscribed, and I would love to change that. I post new videos every single week talking about this amazing city, and I wouldn't want you to miss it. Now, next up, we have the Bulverde Spring Branch area. So this area, specifically Bulverde, is known as the front porch of the Texas Hill Country, and for very good reason. When you're going up 281 from San Antonio, you come up over this hill, and it's like you go from being in the city of San Antonio to cresting this hill, and you see for miles, and you just see all these rolling hills everywhere. And from there, you're in the heart of the hill country. Most of this area is about a 25 to 30 minute drive to get down 281 to get right into the airport, and you're about a 35-minute drive or so to get into downtown. Although the area isn't growing quite as quickly as Bernie or, say, New Braunfels, it is growing at an average pace of 5% year over year, which is still a really, really good growth rate. Location is perfectly positioned positioned in my opinion because it's right between Bernie and New Braunfels, and you get a little bit more quiet environment compared to both of those places because it's a little bit smaller and just a little bit more rural. You also have a lot for outdoor enthusiasts. So Spring Branch is further north than Bulverde. You're closer to Canyon Lake. Canyon Lake is a huge lake, public access lake, really good fishing, really good water sports out there, lots of public marinas, lots of public access points and beaches and things where you can go have picnics on the lake. It's a really, really great spot. And then going towards Bernie, you have Guadalupe River State Park. Very similar thing. You can go into the park, you can bike, you can hike. It's got the hill country, completely surrounding it, of course, and all those hills that you can hike through. Another really cool spot that I forgot to mention is Tejas Rodeo. So really good restaurant, also a really good event venue, and they also have rodeos very regularly. You can take the kids to do mutton busting and go watch the bull riding. I mean, they have, dances and everything like that. So you've got all kinds of different things that you can do right here in this Bulverde area. Comel ISD now has an A rating from niche.com. It's extremely highly rated district. You've got in the Bulverde Spring Branch area, you're served by Smithson Valley High School and all the schools going into that. But it's also very well known athletically for you guys that is very important for. Just won state championship in football last year, and it is very, very competitive in just about everything else too. Now, Bulverde is very unique when it comes to their housing options. You have a couple neighborhoods that you can get houses in the low 300s or even some down in the upper 200s whenever you talk about Hidden Trails, right there across from Johnson Ranch. Hidden Trails is a very unique community with very, very affordable houses, tons of amazing amenities, including its own fishing pond, and lots of parks and trails and things that you can kind of walk through the entire community and get the entire hill country feel with being more affordable, but does have a higher tax rate, so you have to take into account that mud tax. There's also areas like Bell Oaks Ranch where you can get acreage estates, a lot of 1 acre lots in there, and some super high quality builders that are building lots of new construction, custom luxury homes for sale in there. And then you've also got places like River Crossing that are, acreage community with the river running right through it. You've got a river park. It's also got a golf course that's right there, part of the community. And then going up towards Spring Branch and in that Canyon Lake area as well. Some of these neighborhoods that even are on Canyon Lake with some amazing just 10-mile views with Canyon Lake views included in some of those spots. Other than a couple of these neighborhoods like Johnson Ranch and Hidden Trails, for example, you have a significantly lower tax rate here as well, with the average looking at neighborhoods such as Copper Canyon or, any of these others kind of around that area with Bulverde and 281. You're looking at like a 1.5% property tax rate. So super affordable property taxes here as well. So like I mentioned already, Bulverde is a much more affordable option compared to Bernie, with still being kind of the same general location and same hill country feel. But if you're looking for acreage communities, and again, this is may something you guys see as a theme here. I love the Bernie and the Bulverde areas because you get those acreage communities and the hill country. But another great spot that is really hidden and a lot of people don't think about is Lavernia, one of the most affordable acreage locations with 0 tract home developments. And it is very, very unique. Lavernia is a place with a super, super small population. When you're talking small town living, this is small town living. You've got an actual population of about 1,600 residents. Now, the area itself, especially the area served by Lavernia ISD, is significantly more than that. You've got about 3,000 people in Lavernia ISD, 3,000 kids, but it is a place with all acreage communities. There is a couple smaller ones there in town, such as Woodbridge Farms, where you've got, quarter to third acre, some of them like half acre lots. But those are all custom homes as well. But there is 0, there's no DR Horton, there's no Lennar, there's no any of those types of builders in this area. Everything is all custom homes, and they're much more affordable than the Bulverde and Bernie areas. For a school district in Lavernia that is extremely highly rated. Depending on where you look at, it's either an A-rated district or an extremely high B-rated district. You've got 4-day school weeks there, smaller school because it's a smaller area, so you kind of get a little bit more of a small town vibe there, and it is a very community focused place. Even though this is a small town, it's got everything that you need right there. It's got a good sized, recently renovated HEB. It's got a few restaurants. It's got a really good barbecue restaurant in Rabel's Roadhouse. You've got the Den, which is a good area to go kind of hang out outside, get some drinks, let the kids run around in the fenced in yard. There's not a ton of really, really high-end restaurants as far as most places you can go and have some good dinners. It's like just those couple that I mentioned. So you do have to drive into town a little ways, and that is a bit of a negative, I would say. But for its affordability, it makes it worth it, in my opinion. Location wise, it's actually not too far from San Antonio. We're probably looking at like 30 to 40 minutes or so to get to downtown San Antonio. Same thing with Bulverde and Bernie. A lot of people that live here do commute into Randolph. So a lot of military, active duty, retired civilian contractors that work out of Randolph or even out of Fort Sam. It just takes about 30 minutes to get to either of those places. So it's an easy location for them if they want more space and don't want to live in a more, close in, crammed together community. And so you get a lot of those types of people in these areas. And the price is a big reason for that. You've got a median price point of about $516,000. And again, this is all acreage stuff. So you talk about places like Bernie and Bulverde, where they have, these smaller, communities that have $300,000 houses in them. This is an area where there is nothing like that at all. I mean, you can get into Livonia in that $300,000 price range, but you're talking older homes. You're still going to have a little bit bigger lot, but you're talking about older homes. They're smaller homes on those acreage lots. Another big benefit of Livonia, or even if you look south, going towards that Floresville area, depending on where you're looking at, is that a lot of these communities don't have the types of HOAs that you're going to experience up in that Bulverde, and New Braunfels area. So while Livonia is a very, very good spot for those acreage communities, especially with the affordability, and I just love a lot of things about that, especially because of the smaller town. But let's shift gears a little bit. Let's talk about if I was looking at some of these areas that maybe I wanted to get into a typical tract home development, or maybe my budget was a little bit lower than that $500,000 price point. This is where I want to talk about the far west side. So the far west side is a booming area. There is a ton of growth going on out there, especially going out west, going down towards Castroville. If you're looking to grab a 4 or 5 bedroom house for under $350,000, this is a place where you have a ton of options, and that's brand new houses, by the way. So basically, when you're looking at the far west side, you're looking at the areas west of 1604, kind of going south to Highway 90 and then going up north to Bandera Road and Highway 16. Now, depending on where you're at, location, it's not that far from downtown. It's pretty close, actually. Big reason a lot of people move out here is because they're going to be working at Lackland, or they're going to be working on that inner west side of San Antonio. But traffic can be a bit tough. So even if it's just, a shorter drive distance wise, timing of it, the further out west you get, the farther and the longer it's going to take you to get into San Antonio. You've got to take that into big consideration out there, because it may not look like a far drive, but it could definitely add some minutes to your commute for sure. Because of how much growth is happening out here, there is everything that you need right there in that far west side. The Alamo Ranch Shopping Center and everything kind of surrounding that area. There's tons of entertainment options out there, movie theaters, event, venues, entertainment areas with, like the big bowling centers and arcades and all kinds of stuff that you don't really need to go that far to get to everything that you need. So unlike areas that we're going to talk about next with New Braunfels, where you have everything that you need right there, plus a lot of the outdoor activities, the far west side is pretty much just suburban neighborhoods and shopping centers and everything. There's not really any parks to speak of where you can go and kind of enjoy your outdoor activities unless you have something right there in your neighborhood. But you do got to trade off where SeaWorld is right there, just a short drive, inside Loop 1604 to get to SeaWorld. You head north, you can get to La Cantera and the Rim and Fiesta, Texas, relatively easily once you get to 1604. You've got lots of medical infrastructure right there with a couple hospitals, with one already built and a couple being built. You've also got the medical center really, really close to that. So people that are working and living or needing to go to the medical center quite frequently will look at this far west side for its convenience to that, including to Lackland Air Force Base. And a big reason is because of its affordability. We're looking at a median price point below $300,000 at $294,000 out here. You can find homes as low as $190,000 in this area, and new construction homes at that. But most of the options for the new construction is in that like $250,000 up to like that $350,000, $400,000 range. But again, this is the cream of the crop and kind of what San Antonio is known for. But if you're looking for maybe some higher level homes, Perry homes, Highland homes, more custom style homes, there are options for that as well. So you've got homes that are $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 homes that are Just big luxury, high quality homes, bigger lots. There are a couple neighborhoods with those, especially going out west towards Castroville. So you can look at some of those options too. Again, if I was moving here and I was first time home buyer and I was working on a budget, look at some of these new construction homes where, you know, you can get the better interest rate from these incentives. You could even look at a home that's maybe a couple years older and get a much better price than this with that new construction home, and potentially save that as a good rental down the road. And, you know, if it's something that you could put a decent down payment on, stay there for a few years and then rent it out afterwards. There's a lot of opportunity out there for it, given the location and the convenience of location to Lackland Medical Center and all those types of places. The far west side is a great combination of a lot of amenities, a lot of good options for housing and new construction and amenities within those neighborhoods, and just pure old-fashioned affordability. But let's jump back up to something that's, again, right in the city and has a little bit more of that upscale feel without feeling like you're right in the middle of the city. I would consider Chavano Park as being almost like an upscale urban forest in a way. Like, you've got big trees everywhere. These oak trees just line every single road you drive down that Chavano Park area. You've got a very wide mix of neighborhoods. You can get in there for as low as about $400,000. It's a much higher priced area, but you're right in the heart of the city without feeling like you're in the heart of the city. You don't even really hear a lot of that traffic. Chavano Park is actually its own incorporated town. It is located within 1604 and to the east of I-10. It's a small town of about 3,500, 3,600 people or so within the city limits of Chavano Park. There are no cookie cutters in here. There's a couple smaller, you know, gated communities, like I said, that have smaller lots that you can get in that $400,000 price range. But most everything here is in that upper scales. You've got older custom homes built in the 70s and 80s for the most part. Mid-century modern is very, very prevalent here. So with that, you do have lots of older character and some homes that need a little bit of updating, but you can also find a lot that have been updated quite drastically. And again, for that you pay more of a premium, but you're getting a luxury upscale home in an upscale area that supports the values that you're paying, especially when you're looking at these $700, $800, $900 million+ homes. I mean, with this location too, you're minutes away from everything. Downtown, La Cantera, Medical Center. I mean, we're talking 10, maybe 15 minutes, depending on which part of Chavano Park you're located in, to get to every major thing that San Antonio has to offer. Chavano Park, again, because this is its own incorporated city, it has its own police department too. So you're talking quick responses if you ever do need any help with anything. Schools, it is served by Northside ISD, which is a very highly rated district. That is what serves the far west side as well. You've also got some really high rated private schools that are close to the Chavano Park area. You've got Cornerstone, you've got the Antonian College Prep School. Like I mentioned, Chavano Park is a higher priced area. Median price point here is a little over $800,000. But that's because you have a lot of $1 million communities in this area. So while Chavano Park gives you a very good mix of urban convenience and natural beauty, the next place that we're going to talk about has everything across the board, and that is New Braunfels. Now, New Braunfels is one of the fastest growing towns in the entire country. And if you have ever gone to New Braunfels and visited, and you've sat on a tube in the middle of the Guadalupe River or the Comal Rivers, floated down for a couple hours, soaked in that warm Texas sun, and then gone that night to a Texas country music concert, and then gone after that to eat anywhere in Green. There's a lot of people that exact experience has brought them to New Braunfels, and I can tell you I've experienced it all. I've done it all throughout my years here, and I love every single bit of it. New Braunfels sits about 35 miles northeast of San Antonio, right along I-35, and is a good spot being closer to San Antonio, but still in between San Antonio and Austin for those of you that really enjoy going up to Austin to enjoy everything that Austin has to offer without living in the craziness that is Austin, but also being extremely close to San Antonio and never having to live in New Braunfels because you have everything you need right in New Braunfels anyways. It was originally founded as a German settlement back in 1845 and still has tons of those German roots between Wurstfest and all the architecture that happens, that you see downtown. It has absolutely exploded in population from 57,000 in 2010 to over 110,000 today. You've got tons of development, and this is what makes New Braunfels very unique. You've got a mix of a ton of natural areas, parks, the rivers. You've got Landa Park, Canyon Lake, just a short drive up north. You're right on the edge of that Texas hill country. So if you live up on that north side of New Braunfels, tons of hill country views out there. You've also got everything that you could possibly want in an entertainment area downtown New Braunfels, whether it's bars, dance halls, like Green Hall and over in Green. You've got, music venues at Green, and then multiple other areas in downtown and even up in Whitewater Amphitheater, just a short drive going up towards Canyon Lake from New Braunfels. You've got the rivers that you can float on. You can take the kids and just play in some of those little splash pad, spring-fed pools in Landa Park. I mean, there's no shortage of things to talk about whenever it comes to just things to do and entertainment and just overall amenities in New Braunfels. And that is a big reason why all of this development has happened and why it has grown so much over the last few years. Landa Park is probably my absolute favorite park out of any of the San Antonio area parks. 196 acres, tons of playgrounds for the kids. You can go sit in these little benches or in the gazebo that's right there by the river where the Comal River starts. You've got the spring-fed pools, you've got golf course, everything else right there. And Green is probably the area where if me and my wife are talking about where we want to go out to eat, we're talking about which restaurant that we love in Green we want to go to. Gristmill, Green River Grill, Mosey's, multiple others. And one thing I didn't even mention was Schlitterbahn. Schlitterbahn is one of the highest rated water parks in the entire world, and is consistently ranked as the best water park in the entire world by a lot of publications out there. They do have splash pads and everything else you can take younger kids to, so don't think it's just for the older ones. That being said, as you can imagine, New Braunfels is very popular as a vacation destination, and tourism is one of its major industries. But looking at the people that are living in New Braunfels, you have two different school districts. You got New Braunfels ISD, Comal ISD. So we already talked about Comal ISD with Smithson Valley. Comal ISD in New Braunfels has Canyon High School and all the schools that kind of serve Canyon High School. It's kind of like that southeast area of New Braunfels. New Braunfels ISD has two separate high schools now. So they have New Braunfels High School and they have Long Creek. Long Creek is brand new, just opened, and it is also on that southwest side of New Braunfels. A lot of the development is in that kind of flatter farmland south of New Braunfels, between New Braunfels and Seguin. That area between New Braunfels and Seguin is absolutely exploding, and that's going to be a huge area that we talk about for years and years to come. The housing market in New Braunfels has something for everybody. Like I said, tons of development, including some lower price tract home developments. Median price points about $335,000, and you've got homes from multi-million dollar, I've seen $5 to $10 million listings, to homes as low as $250,000 on the south side in some of those newer developments. If you're looking up on that northwest side, you typically got to find something in that like 350 range. It's kind of like the starting point up there, but you can get some in the low 300s. Most everything up there is $400,000 plus. When you look at those neighborhoods like Barramundi, Vintage Oak specifically, Meyer Ranch, those other neighborhoods kind of surrounding Green too, like those are kind of the major ones that a lot of people that want to be kind of on that hill country side of New Braunfels that they typically look at. And you can also get homes that are right there close to downtown. Now you're going to be spending a premium to get close to downtown, but if you're looking at a smaller home, you can find stuff down there for $350,000, $400,000 for a really small kind of old cottagey style house. But a lot of those are $500,000, $600,000, $800,000 plus, and you're within walking distance to everything though, which is really, really unique because not a lot of areas in San Antonio have good walkability. Now, what I will say, I've talked a lot of good things about New Braunfels. I've had a house in New Braunfels before. I don't anymore. What maybe you guys have seen as a more common theme is that I really like the kind of smaller town, more space, right? So New Braunfels for me was a little too busy. We visit New Braunfels all the time, but personally, I don't want to live there because I don't want to deal with all the traffic. I prefer a smaller town, kind of slower pace with a little bit more quiet environment versus being right there in New Braunfels all the time for everything that I need. Personally, I would not move to New Braunfels right now. If I was coming from out of state and wanting something that was a little bit more active and everything, that was the place that would be pretty much the give all be all, have everything that you need right there with a super affordable price point or higher price point if you want more luxury style homes. So what would be my top pick? If I was moving here personally, it would probably be Bernie. And there's a lot of things that I can get to as to why that would be the case, but will tell you, I don't personally live in Bernie right now, but that's for family reasons. I need to be close to where my family's at. But if I was moving here, didn't have anybody else here locally, and was just looking at the best place that fits everything that I personally like, it would be Bernie, just because you've got enough in town to have plenty of good restaurants to go out to eat. You can go downtown and go shopping for my wife. You can go to some of these parks like Bernie City Lake, or the Civil Nature Center has extremely highly rated schools. Even though, like I said, I homeschool my kids, if I was having my kids in public school, I wanted the access to a really good rated school district. But again, I would be super happy with just about any of these areas that I mentioned today, for various different reasons, depending on my stage of life. So that's the beauty of San Antonio. There's something for everybody, and there's affordability everywhere as well as luxury everywhere. So if you are serious about looking at moving to San Antonio, I would love to help you guys out. We can talk about your exact situation, what your best case areas would be to look at for your budget, for your family situation, all those types of things. And we can really get into the nitty-gritty details with all of it. So all my information is down in the description below. Would love for you guys to go to that Calendly link and schedule a call one-on-one with me directly, so that we can talk about all of this stuff. I run the Life in San Antonio, Texas home group. We absolutely love this area, and we've lived here our entire lives, and we really love to help people just like you. So if you're looking at more information at some of these suburbs, more detailed dive-ins, take a look at this video right here where I break down all of the most explosive, booming suburbs around the San Antonio area. And until the next one, guys, we'll see you there.